you ready? Yes. Okay, well, first of all, welcome and congratulations, and also, hey to everyone that's tuning in online. If you have questions, just use Twitter. Through the info you saw in the directions on the email, just use Twitter to send in questions. We'll answer at the end. So first of all, just to say again, we are so excited that you'll be going with us this summer. I know you're all going to have a great time. Today we'll be discussing really important information regarding health and safety, but also we'll be covering general information from packing to culture shock. We're not going to really get into specifics for your different programs. We'll go over that in your program-specific orientation. Some of you already have this. Some of you will be having this soon. So if you have specific questions for your specific program, ask your program director and faculty member. He'll be able to help you, he or she. Before we get started, let's take a look at your packets. So we have different flyers and sheets within the packet that we're going to talk about throughout the program, but also take a look at that last sheet. It's going to have a place for you to write notes. So throughout the orientation, as you have questions, write them down. That way we can kind of speed through this, and at the end, whoever has questions, we'll go through those. I want to go ahead and start off and see who's all here. So first of all, you can clap, you can snap, whatever you're doing. Chocolate College of Belize. Woo! Yeah! Spanish in Costa Rica.
Yeah!
Awesome. International Development in Costa Rica. Yay! Awesome. Human Studies. Woo! Politics and Human Rights Law in Europe. Woo! French in France. Dolphin Studies in Honduras. Business and Culture in Japan.
Hi.
Music or German in Vienna. Spanish in Spain. And finally, Summer Teacher Institute in Spain. All right, again, we are so excited to have you here. We're going to get started in a second, but I just want to take a second to remind you, you should have all received your handbook via email. So if you haven't had a chance to look through it, take a chance, read through it, learn about different things. There's a lot of specific information. We're going to try to get through a lot of it today, but if we don't get through some of it, it's good to take a look at it. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers. So we have 4 speakers today. We have Mr. Paul Walters, Director, Office of Compliance and Ethics. We have Dr. Rebecca Malley, University Title IX Coordinator. After her, we'll have Special Agent Walton from FBI. And then we'll have Stephen English, who's Physician Assistant from Health Services Center. So we're going to start off with Mr. Paul Walters and Dr. Rebecca Malley. Yes, all right.
Good afternoon. I'm also with General Counsel's office, so I'm a lawyer, and so we always come and talk to groups about law things, legal things. You've got your handbook, you've got your information. They're going to be giving you specific information on safety procedures. In fact, one of the first things I was going to do was recommend you go to the FBI site and get this brochure. But Special Agent Walton is here, and he's going to talk directly with you about that. It's got some excellent information in there about some common sense things to do while you're overseas to protect yourself and your possessions. So when Special Agent Walton gets up here, pay very close attention to that. Because traveling overseas can be a wonderful experience. If you wind up in a foreign jail, it's not a good experience. So let's stay out of the foreign jail. But if you do get arrested and find yourself in a bad pickle overseas, the first thing you want to do is contact the U.S. consulate as soon as possible. You're going to have contact numbers for those. But always remember, U.S. consulate. If you get in trouble, contact the U.S. consulate. As far as our policies and procedures at the university, the main thing that I'm tasked with is informing you that our alcohol and drug policy applies even when you travel overseas. If you're under 21 in the United States, you're not allowed to possess or drink alcohol. The law is made clear in the overseas. So you have to be aware of what the law is in that country. If the law in that country is 18, you're allowed to drink and you drink, that's fine. Don't get into trouble and don't wind up in foreign jail. So don't do anything foolish. As far as our sexual misconduct policy, Dr. Mattis is going to talk about that. But what you do need to know for certain is that whether you're here on our campus in Hattiesburg, in Mississippi, in the United States, or in Spain or Costa Rica, our sexual misconduct policy applies. And so if there's any violations of that policy, it will be handled administratively through the university, regardless of what happens overseas. Okay, so Dr. Mattis is going to talk to you about the sexual misconduct policy. If you've got any questions, we'll be happy to answer for you.
Okay, first of all, we're officially jealous because you're going overseas, and I think we're going to be on campus. Is that pretty much what
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all,
We're happy for you, really. We're not.
I mean, we are. We're happy for you. We're a little jealous, though. So I want to clarify for you, just to really make certain you understand, because you are attending these programs, and as an employee, you're participating in these programs overseas. You're still a part of the USM community. So all the rights and responsibilities that you have as USM students go with you, okay? So just to clarify, part of your rights as students and employees is to have your civil rights protected. So you have the right to not be treated differently because of your religious beliefs, your race, your gender, your sexual orientation, your age, any disability you have, or national origin, in the context of this educational setting. Now, certainly there are going to be some caveats because you're traveling overseas, okay? But in the most general terms, if at any point during your experience with these programs, you feel like you are in some way being compromised because of any of those protections, you need to let Mr. Walters know, okay? You will have access to his email and contact info just as you will mine. I think you already have it, but I'm going to make sure Ms. Linda gets it to you again, okay? So I want to talk a little more specifically about a couple of subsets of that non-discrimination policy statement, which speak to the sexual misconduct policy of the university. There are a great number of behaviors that are delineated there. And again, you have the right to not be subjected to any of those behaviors, and you also have the responsibility not to engage in any of those behaviors that meet the definition of the sexual misconduct policy. I'm not going to read it to you. I'm assuming you passed a reading test to be able to go overseas with USM, okay? But I am going to send you the link and ask you to be certain you read it before you leave the university. And contact me if you have any questions. Again, I will make sure you get that info. As you're participating in these programs, if at any point you feel like you have been victimized in some way based on behavior that's covered in that policy, contact me. If for some reason you can't get me, contact Mr. Walters. You don't have to go through your program coordinator. You can do that directly. You may not feel comfortable going to your program coordinator. Contact me, contact someone in the International Studies office, but let us know. Send me an email. I'm pretty obsessive about my email, okay? Okay, so if it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, I'm probably not going to get it right away, but I bet I will at 6. And if need be, we will figure out how we will be in contact with you by telephone or by Skype, whatever it takes. So my takeaway for you is don't feel like you're on your own when you leave here, okay? Are there any questions about that? Okay, if you want to send me a postcard, I work in the International Center, room 520. Have a good trip. Thank you very much.
I want to follow up on one thing. Dr. Mattis was talking about the sexual misconduct policy. What we need to make clear is that it applies to you as a student-on-student contact, student-on-faculty contact, or faculty-on-student conduct. Sexual misconduct is defined as unwanted contact of a sexual nature. So some of these countries you're traveling in, they have different customs and boards than we do in this country. So while in this country, patting a female on the butt may be considered sexual harassment, it may not be in Italy or some of these other countries. So if a foreigner has unwanted sexual contact with you, we need to know about it. We don't have any jurisdiction over that person. Certainly it may be a police issue or a local law enforcement issue. But if it is one of our students on another student, or faculty on student, or student toward faculty, those are the kind of things that we have jurisdiction over here on the campus. So if any of those kind of unwanted contacts occur, let us know and we'll do what we can to remedy the situation as soon as possible. So just remember that your rights travel with you. You may not have those same rights under the law of that country, but as far as our students and our faculty members and the people who are in our program, those rights attach and travel with you. Okay? If you got any questions, we'll be glad to answer them for you, and we're always available by email. So even when you're overseas.
It's always good to have an empty.
Good evening, everyone. I am Guy Mr. Walton. I go by Guy Walton. I am an FBI agent, and I have my stopwatch here because I have some Southern Baptist deacon meetings. But I have been an FBI agent for almost 21 years. I come from Mobile, Alabama. I speak 2 languages, mathematics and ebonics, and I was grew up in ebonics. So those of you who speak French, bonjour, comment allez-vous? Those of you who speak Spanish, hola, ¿cómo está? Those of you who speak the language that I was taught in the military special ops, hongu, annyeonghaseyo, ajima, ajishi. No hongu. Those of you who speak, I can't say pig Latin because none of you are old enough to know pig Latin. Those of you who have spoken, if I say jumbo, you know that's Swahili. I've been to places in my lifetime as military, and here are some of the places. Panama, Philippines, Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Egypt. Alabama. That's my military time. Now, as an FBI agent, I am an adjunct professor for the George C. Marshall Center in Germany, where I have had the pleasure, the blessing to deal with almost 172 countries from Russia, Moldova. I had Moldova. Okay. Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. All the stands I've had the honor to interact with. France, Europe, Germany, Guten Tag, heißen Sie. Guess what? You are exactly where we need you to be in the United States government. Because globalization of this world, we need your skills as a linguist, as a scientist, as a teacher, to be able to bring those skill sets back here and make us a stronger country. But the virtue of you having the blue passport, it opens the doors to this world. How many international relation majors I have here? Thomas Hobbes says that we are an exceptional nation. I just got my master in international relations. For a mathematician to do the south side of my brain, I was good. You must learn your skill set, become a master in that skill set. And when you do, the doors will open up. Because you have that blue passport, you also a target. When I say a target, because it's an estimate of about 60 students in here. Some of you are going to be in research. The dolphin, my scientists, raise your hand. You're going to find a cure that not only fix the dolphins from coming up on land, but you're also going to expand the cure for the avian flu virus because you're just that smart. But you're also going to be the deans in research. You're also going to be in government service. You're going to be in places with me with security clearance that if I can recruit you now at 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, when you become 50 like me, and you have a TS clearance and can read things like and work on cases like I've worked on, Winho Lee, Global Health, a couple of others that I can't talk about, my hero, who gave the secrets to WikiLeaks. Guess what? I have TS clearance. I come from the projects in Mobile, Alabama. I was cut, shot, and stabbed before I was 14. And by the grace of God, I'm here. If someone would have recruited me through those years of football and mathematics, they would have a lot of secrets. That blue passport you own makes you a target. And let's go through your works. Let's go through the brochures real fast, because I want to put accents on a couple of things. How you dress. Yoga pants? No. Your professors, they're going to be politically correct. I'm not. I'm a dad. I have 6 kids. I have a beautiful wife who speaks French, Arabic, and taught herself conversational Russian. She's an intelligence analyst for the FBI. She left me in January to take an assignment in Paris. That's why I lost 15 pounds already. My pants are falling off. She took 3 of my 6 babies to Paris. My 6-year-old calls me up, bonjour, papa. And he goes off, and I'm like, ooh la la. So, no yoga pants. Okay? No ministers. Dress like you're a University of Southern Mississippi student. Diplomat. A diplomat from the United States. That's what you are, an ambassador. So those things that you do overseas will reflect back on your career, will reflect back on the university, and reflect back on the country. Credit cards. If you are so inclined, and if you can, if your parents can, or whomever supports you, get your separate and independent credit card and checking account with an international bank like Chase. I'm not making a recommendation, but get it. Facebook, Twitter account, Snapchat. Who all has it? Come on, all in raise your hand. Come on, come on. Create new ones. I'm not going to tell you to get rid of them because I have 3 teenagers, and I blocked them from Facebook and all this stuff for years. Now I said, okay, you got to do it, but here's how to do it. Put the security on it, hide. Oh, by the way, I work cyber crimes and counterintelligence. I chase spies. Okay. Do a new Facebook account that is strictly for your family and a very select few. Because when you're sitting in Paris and you're sitting at the and you take the selfie, you want your family to be able to see that you're alive and well and having a great time. When you get back, then you're going to migrate all those pictures to all your 825 friends. Twitter, new account. Only tweet things that you need to say. Tweet like a professional. Tweet like a marketing professional. Because what you say can come back and bite you. I just had an interview because I'm getting ready to retire for GE Capital. I just threw my resume out there to see what I'm working. They said, what's your Facebook account and your Twitter account? Don't have one. You don't? No. That's easy. Let's go down 10 more questions. Say, oh, by the way, you're not on LinkedIn? No. Because I know where I want to work. I know who I want to work with. I don't need 2,000 people knowing that I have a degree in physics, electrical engineering, a master in electrical engineering, a master in international relations, that I teach in 3 foreign schools as well as Georgetown. No. Information is key. It can be a double-edged sword. And just like I told my son, this is a defensive move. This here is a death move, cutting your head off. So use the technology to your advantage. Twitter account, Snapchat. Why? Just really, why? I know I'm going against the grain for everybody that's on the point. And let's move forward. take your passport. Make a copy of your passport, leave it with your parents, with the school. Take a copy of your passport and email it to yourself so you'll have it. If you lose everything, you can log onto your new email account, your new Gmail account, or your new Yahoo account and get it and pull it off and give it to the embassy to get your email. Create a new one. If you are living off campus, get your P.O. box. Don't send the stuff to your parents' address. Don't send it to your boyfriend's address. Get your P.O. box, close it off, or send it to the university mailbox so they can hold it. Avoid traveling alone. The common sense things. Just like America is a dangerous place, Costa Rica, Paris, Belize, all these places are dangerous also. Spain, you're going to enjoy Spain. Dance, sing, knock it out. Don't keep nothing on the floor, but keep your respect and realize that you are a visitor. If you do run into a police officer, if you're driving and they stop you and they give you a ticket and say you have to pay the ticket right now, you do. You may think that's corruption, but I was driving from Garmisch down to Rome, and I had a porcelain, and I was going 10 kilometers over the speed limit. Pulled me over, it was a speed trap. They said, you owe us 50 euros. Me as police officer, oh, you're supposed to give me a ticket. No, you have to pay now. I thought about it. He has a gun. I have. I can take it. But, no. Is your 50? Thank you. When you're traveling, keep your eyes open. You get into the airport of foreign country, you guys are going to be together. Always be looking. And if your plane get delayed and you're going to be overnight, somebody stay up. Do it like a military security deal. 2 of you stay up. If there's 12 of you, 2 of you stay up for 2 hours, the other 2 wake up, because you need someone looking out for you. And think about that, did you? Your PDAs, your laptops, your smartphones. If you have a phone that you're taking that's unlocked and you're going to put a SIM card in when you get overseas, excellent. Clear your phone. Download everything on your phone. Get rid of it. Take a clean laptop, a clean PDA, nothing on it. If you have research on it, put your research on a disk, not a jump drive. A disk, especially for my researchers. If you have something that's proprietary, intellectual property, leave it. And collect your data, bring it back, and work it from there. Make sense? Because if you take your research there, when you go through customs, you just gave your research away. Now, I have 3 minutes. Let's talk about foreign intelligence services. I chase spies. Wen Ho Lee. Wen Ho Lee gave the United States secrets of all our nuclear weapons to China. Our deficit is not because we went to war. Our deficit is not because we're spending money. Our deficit is because we had to spend trillions of dollars to retool our nuclear weapons because Wen Ho Lee gave it to China. Why do you expect that China's technology has made bounds and leaps over decades? Because they have stolen. And that's okay. We know this. That's the game. That's why they hired me. But they will come after you like Cuban folks. Who? The Cuban intelligence service is one of the best intelligence services in the world. They were trained by the Russians, they were forged by Venezuela, and they've been going up against us for half a century. And they've done more with less for so long that they're good. You go into France, everybody's in France. the Russians, the Spaniards, the Canadians, they're going to come after you. And if the hair on the back of your neck raises up, if they say, hey, where do you want to be? I'm thinking of go and be a translator for the UN, but work for the CIA first. Oh, cool. Mr. Schreiber said that. The Chinese pound stone. We arrested him. He did 5 years. I'm going to be speaking Mandarin. He spoke Cantonese. He was on the fast track. But money for being recruited. He got caught up. Go out to FBI.gov and click on, or go to Google and click on and type in Game of Pawns. The video is now free. There are people at International, they will have it. You can watch it in their office or watch it at home at your leisure. It is a compelling story about youth, fun, smart, energetic, ready to change the world, not knowing what you do. I am right at 15 minutes. Can I answer 3 questions? Any questions? You want my wife's email address before you leave? It is Walton, WALTON, RR, @state.gov. She works for the FBI lead. Drop dead gorgeous. Ooh. Smart. I married up. Out of my league. She will help you. You get there, she will show you around. She will assist you any way she can. Okay? I love Paris. I spent 40 days there. We got there 2 days prior to the terrorist attack. It happened in the 17 Arrows district, a very affluent Jewish neighborhood. I'm sitting in the pastry shop, having to be a raisin upon raisin, and I hear da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. I'm trying military. I hit it. And I was like, okay, I'm left-handed. I don't have a gun. My kids are 2 miles away. And then I was 20 pounds heavy. I took off running. I got stopped by the police. I showed them my credentials. They sent me on. But you don't have an FBI badge and FBI. When I got to the school, the 5 Marines standing at the school, they locked down the school, and I was like, praise the Lord. Thank you. We got it. 6 days later, a block away from my home, I hear da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, boom, da-da-da-da, boom. It's the takedown around the corner. I'm like, Lord, what do you got into? But the French intelligence and French law enforcement, French military handled it well. The French people did not. So my wife looks like she is Moroccan or Algerian because she's a Cajun beauty from New Orleans and Baton Rouge. She was a dancing doll for Southern Mississippi. She was second runner-up for Miss Louisiana. So you know that she is gorgeous. They think she is Algerian. And I'm like, I'll leave you here. But after 30 days, patience, calm, and common sense says, this is the safest place in Paris, in Europe right now, where my family is at. So if you have a problem, contact your representative that's with you, contact the school, and if all else fails, remember these 3 letters, RSO, U.S. citizens. Contact the RSO at the U.S. citizens. That's the regional security officer. He or she is the responsible person for your security in the country. And believe it or not, they are good. Question? I'm gonna stick around for a little bit. Whatever you need, please reach out to me. Your staff back there has my email address. If you need anything, let me know. And when you get back, if you have some kind of contact or something that you like me to take a look at or listen to, I'll be happy to. I'll be happy to say yes. Because some of you probably gonna get job offers. But run it through university, if you think it's a kind of recruitment process, it is hard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Last speaker coming up.
Well, I'm not going to be able to do as good of a job as he just did, but that was awesome. My name is Stephen English. I'm a PA at the clinic here on campus. Some of y'all may have seen me before. Just to kind of talk a little bit about kind of health and just kind of general safety type tips moving forward on your trip. Safety first, obviously. So, as other people have said up here, you're still a USM student when you go abroad. You guys probably have access to this, so represent us well. Some websites that you guys may want to look into. I assume most of y'all have been to the CDC website for wherever you're going. That's going to be the best information for like health, vaccines, pills, things that you need. We'll go into a little bit more of that moving forward. This is Dr. Crawford's slide, so I'm going to go up on. As I said, vaccines. Make sure your vaccines are up to date. That you're going to receive the appropriate ones based on that CDC information. Make sure you look that up, cdc.gov, search for your country, and there it'll say like information for traveling to XYZ, wherever it is. They do say 4 to 6 weeks prior to travel to make sure we get all the requirements in. We do most everything at the clinic on campus if that's convenient for you to come by to get vaccines. You see down there malaria, we treat that. Typhoid, traveler's diarrhea, altitude sickness, you get flight anxiety, things like that. So come on by and see us if you need any medicine for that. Another thing, make sure you get all your refills for anything that you take, for blood pressure, for thyroid, diabetes, ADD, anything like that. Make sure you have that for the duration that you're going to be on your travel ahead of time. Because say you're taking a blood pressure medicine, you run out of it when you're over there, and you start getting heart palpitations. That would not be good in a foreign country. We don't want y'all to have to deal with that. So, little tips here. Foods that are cooked and served hot. Make sure fruits and vegetables are washed if at all possible. Pasteurized dairy products, bottled water, ice cubes that come from bottled water. Because if you think about drinking the water in other countries, a lot of times the ice cubes that are served in there are from their tap water. Well, that's an easy way to get some kind of infection. So think about that. Beware of frozen alcoholic drinks, which also may have some of that water, the tap water over there. So we already talked about bush meat's on there. I don't know if any of you guys are going to be eating bush meat, but that's a good way to get Ebola. We don't want any of you guys to. We already mentioned the tap water, unwashed from those fruits and vegetables. Bug bite prevention. Awesome. So, you guys probably know, you've probably done your research on this. Some of the places you're going to go, you're going to be really hot. I don't know how much access to air conditioning you're going to have. When I went to Haiti, that was as hot as I've ever been, and I promised myself I would never complain about heat again. You sleep in long sleeves, long pants, something light, hopefully. Insect repellent, cover yourself with it if you're in a place with a lot of mosquitoes or places that you're going to get bit at nighttime. Take your shower and then cover yourself in insect repellent before you go to bed. Also nets, mosquito nets, if you're going to be in a place, like for those of y'all going to the Caribbean maybe, where there's more mosquitoes. You may need some mosquito nets for your bed. Bed bugs don't carry disease, but they're annoying. Be careful around animals that you don't know. Not sure if the rabies vaccine is something that's necessary or not, but just be smart. If there's a monkey around, don't mess with the monkey. Monkey, could potentially give you rabies, and even though it looks normal and safe, it might bite you just all of a sudden. So, and obviously animal bites can cause serious infections. Wash your hands. I would carry some of this hand sanitizer with you, at least 60% alcohol. Cover your nose and mouth with your sleeve or tissue. That's pretty obvious. And avoid sick people. Don't go around anybody that you think may have some kind of crazy infection. Topic here. I talked to a buddy of mine, one of my best friends who lived overseas for lots of years. And I was like, what should I tell the students that I'm going to talk to that are going overseas? And he said, tell them sex outside this country is a terrible idea. So, just so you know. I thought that was funny. But if you are going to do it, if you meet someone, you never know. Just make sure you're safe. Latex condoms, we have those over in the clinic also, if that's something you want to grab. Don't inject drugs, if you guys know that. Limit alcohol consumption. Something else on this, there are alcohols in other countries that are illegal in the United States due to alcohol content. Things like absinthe is one of them. So if you're at a place and you want to drink, if you're of age, make sure you don't just drink like the local cocktail where they don't tell you what ingredients are in there, because you might find yourself on your butt because of that. So yeah, don't share needles. I don't think that you guys would do that. Don't visit tattoo parlors over there either. Just some little things that you may want to have with you. This would be good. Traveler's diarrhea, any kind of other diarrhea that you may pick up over there. Extra glasses or contacts you want to be able to see while you're over there. That would be very bad. We already talked about prescriptions. This is always a good idea. We talked about hand sanitizers. Benadryl is probably a really good one too, and maybe even like Zyrtec or Claritin, the other antihistamines, because you never know what you're going to be exposed to, new environments, new allergens. So that may be something to grab. I think some of the same things maybe on here. And just like we talked about the allergies, the hydrocortisone creams can help if you come in contact with anything that causes a rash. Could be something to kind of apply to that area. Band-Aids. Enjoy this adventure. This is going to be a fun time. I'm sure for some of y'all it's the first time going overseas, and it may be something that starts a long future for you of traveling different countries, and like he said, maybe even a job in the future. So enjoy it. Be safe. Have any questions about anything? Yes.
What about
Healthcare and insurance when the study abroad program is over? In regards to what in particular? Uh-huh. Is there another question?
Does the clinic or somewhere locally, is sleeping water?
Sleeping water?
It's a small bottle of water to sleep.
I'm not familiar with that, but we might have something similar to that. You can, if you want to come in, just come in and ask to come talk to me or one of the providers there, and I'll help you with that. Okay? Yeah. And I'll do some research on that too when I get the other way. What else? What other questions? Nothing. Y'all can always email me too. It's my name is Stephen English. Steve. Hello. Yeah. I'm not going to do the elementary school thing. Stephen.english@usm.edu. Feel free to email me. If you have questions while you're over there, even. If you have a weird rash, you want to take a picture of it and send it over, feel free. Help you out however I can.
else, there's a couple other things I want to cover. Make sure that jet lag is real and it will leave you disoriented and grumpy. So remember when you get there, if you're having a bad time right away, just remember it's probably jet lag. You're going to be tired and you're going to need to just drink a lot of water. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you get there. You're like, it's morning. I'm going to eat breakfast. Get in that mindset and that'll help. Keep your good, healthy habits even though you're out of your routine. So remember, you know, just because you're there, don't go crazy. And try to keep yourself kind of with good habits and a routine. That'll make you feel better in the long run. And also, you're not used to like a sleeping flight. Just remember, like, don't go say, I'm going to take some hardcore sleeping pills. This first time I've ever taken them, and I'm going to do it now on this flight. Because you don't know how that's going to work. And so just know what you've done before and just be cautious. So now we have Jessica talk about some great things.
A few more things we need to go over, so y'all just bear with us. So here's some things we need to take care of beforehand. Be sure you have completed your post-acceptance application form. Who's done that? All hands should be up. If not, then take care of that, okay? Also, passport copy. Just like special agent said, we need that. It's very important that we have that. Make another one for yourself. Leave at home as well. Be sure to get that done before you leave. And then also take care of your outstanding balances. If you haven't talked with us about that, come into the office and let's make sure we got that all good to go before you leave as well. Required documents that you need, of course, is your passport. Make sure you have it the day you leave to go. I mean, you do not want to show up at the airport and be like, oh, I don't have my passport, because then you're not going anywhere. You have to have it. Be sure to put it in your carry-on or your purse. Do not put it in your checked luggage because that just it doesn't work well. Okay, so, and then also a visa. I think this only really applies to our Cuban Studies program. I'm sure you've talked to your director and you know things on that. If you have any questions, please talk to your director, your faculty as well. And then the HTH insurance card. You want to have this on you as well. That's your proof of health insurance. And if you haven't gotten it yet, you will. Either we'll send it to you through the mail or your program director will get that to you. All right, so make sure you have those things. They're very important. You have to have them.
All right, so now we're going to talk about emergencies. While you're abroad, you're going to be disoriented. You're going to, it's going to be a different situation than you're used to. So you might think something is a big emergency, but we're going to talk about perceived versus real emergencies. So a perceived emergency might be something, you know, you might be out of your element. A good rule of thumb to be able to decide if it's perceived or real, would you call 911? If you're at home, would you call 911? If you would, then it's probably a real emergency. So what do? First, you need to contact the local authorities. Okay, that's the first rule. Second, you're going to contact your on-site staff or director. Okay, that's very important. You contact them so they know what's going on. Then your third person you contact, your international programs office here. And then after all those people, after you contacted all three of those people, then is when you would contact your parents. Because you contact your parents first. Their first thing, they're going to call us. And we're going to be like, what are you talking about? We don't have any emergency. So it's make sure you contact local authorities, on-site staff, the international programs, then your parents. That way we can't help you if we don't know about it. So if there's an emergency, what are you going to do? Well, when you get to your on-site, you want an on-site orientation. At that point, you will go over an emergency plan of the steps of what to do. You'll establish a meetup point. So the first thing is, where should you go? Well, you're going to have a meetup point, and you will meet a group there. So you know where you need to go, and you'll talk about that. But also, how should you get there? So is it by public transportation? However, you'll also discuss that. Then, who should you contact? That's going to be most likely your on-site director or staff. Okay, the reason we have these is because it's like a fire drill when you're in elementary school or a tornado drill. This isn't to scare you, it seems overwhelming, all this emergency preparedness, but it's because in case something does happen, you need to be prepared. You need to know where to go. It'll be easier not to panic as much because you know what you need to do. But also in this meeting point and how should you get there, it's important to have common sense. You need to know, is it safe to get there right now? Because this could be a natural disaster, it could be a terrorist attack. You need to know if it's safe to get there. So use common sense. If it's not safe, wait it out, and then go to the meeting place. Your on-site director will be there, checking off names, make sure you're there. So this was just to make sure you're prepared. Also, we'll be enrolling you in the SMART Traveler Enrollment Plan. It's the State Department. So that way the State Department, in case there is emergency, the State Department will know where you are. But we've talked about emergency preparedness and back one more. There's one there. That's not there. We talk about emergency preparedness, but also fire preparedness. That seems like it's common sense. It seems like it's pretty simple and you would think about it, but it's not that. You get to where you think, oh, I'm gonna find fire exit. No worries. Well, you're in different countries. You don't know what their codes are for buildings. You don't know if it's gonna be easily accessible. It should be, but you don't know this for sure. So take a moment when you go to the school you're gonna be having classes in, whatever buildings you walk into, especially if it's where you're staying, your dorms, the hotel, the hostel. Make sure you take a second to know where the fire exits are. Again, it seems like it's such a common sense thing, but you forget, you don't think about it. Just make sure you do that. But now we're going to talk about public safety. So tips for maintaining safety abroad. I'm about to go through a list of some things. And again, they seem like common sense, but sometimes you think you do it, but you don't. So buddy system. Let's say you're at a cafe with your whole class and you're discussing something. And you're just like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. They won't leave without me. Well, if there's like 16 people in the class, and you go to the bathroom, what if they forgot to count? You need to make sure you tell your buddy, have a buddy, say, don't leave me. I'm going to the restroom, don't leave me. It's just something like that. They might walk off and you might not realize where they're gone. So think of that. Lock your doors. You would not leave your house for an entire day and leave your door unlocked. It has all your personal belongings, all your stuff in there. Do the same while you're abroad. Don't leave your hotel room door locked. Don't leave your dorm room unlocked. Think about those things. Just use common sense. Stay in touch with the staff of your program or partner institution. If you're going to go away for a weekend, if you have time to travel, let them know where you're going. You know, be in touch with them. It's all about communication, just in case something happens, so you know where you are. Just keep in touch. And so some other things on this list are, Special Agent Watson talked about a few things in this list, but avoid walking in unfamiliar areas of the city alone or at night. Never accept rides from strangers. And pretty common sense, you know that. Be as inconspicuous as possible in dress and behavior. Be careful about divulging information about yourself and your program to strangers. Be aware of the people and circumstances around you. Don't leave your bags unattended. Do not transport a package or suitcase for anyone. Be careful with money in public because you don't know who closely is monitoring you. Keep copies of credit cards, passport, and other information or other important documents in order to expedite cancellation or replacement in case they're stolen or lost. Carry an ID on you at all times. But again, don't have your passport on you when you're going around unless you need it. Keep it locked up in the hotel. Some of you might have excursions when you need your passport, so that's okay. But make sure you have at least some form of ID. Let someone know where you're going and when to expect you back. And stay away from large crowds and political rallies or demonstrations. These situations where you're in big crowds, it's easy for someone to pickpocket you. Just be careful of those kind of things. And also be aware of sensationalized news. Sometimes when things happen, they're broad. It'll be something simple, but they're going to make everyone back in America, they're going to spin it how they're going to spin it. So just be aware that news is sensationalized, and so you should get real facts before you just make up things. Now we're good, Jessica.
Guys, we're looking a little sleepy. Y'all okay? Are you still with us? Should we get a Southern Miss? Oh, come on. Southern Miss? Okay, so something that may seem like you should know, but do you know your destination? Do you really know where you're going? These are some things you might want to research before you get there, just so you're a little bit more aware. A great resource here is travel.state.gov. You go there and find out all sorts of things about that country that you are going to, so that's a great resource. Also, how about read a book? you know, that's kind of falling off the wagon there, but hey, it's still great. I even love travel magazines. You can pick up, you know, anywhere. Just gives you some fun intel about, you know, where you're going, what you're going to see, watch movies, TV shows, just something so when you step off the plane, you're like, oh, I've kind of seen this before. So it's not too totally shocking, right? And then also, who loves Pinterest? Come on, you know, okay. I love Pinterest too. Why not use it to your best of your abilities and make a board? Some great things to be able to do and see. So why not take advantage of our technology that we have today? Moving on to next thing, money. Don't we all love money? It's so important. So, do you know the currency of where you're going? Anybody know? Yeah, okay. Well, you know, if you don't know, you might want to figure that out before you go. Just take a quick Google. Thank God for Google, right? Also, be sure to create a budget for yourself. It's quite important to you know how much money you have and know how you want to spend it, and also leave yourself some wiggle room because life happens, right? So you don't want to be stranded without some money in case of emergency or something happens. It is also great to have some of the local currency on you when you already get there. If you have time to do that, you can go by your bank or a credit union here in town and make an exchange for you. However, if you don't have time, that's okay. You can exchange when you get to the country you're going to. Cuba, you're a little bit of a special exception there. You are special kids. And I'm sure your program director is going to talk to you about all of that as well. Let's see here. Like I said, have some cash on you, but you never want to have too much. It's always important to, you know, we'll talk about not putting all your eggs in one basket in a minute. Debit cards. You need to tell your bank where you're going and when you're going, or they're going to shut your card off, and then you're going to be in a bind. So be sure to contact your bank and just let them know. Also, you might want to ask them what are their policies for ATM transactions as well as foreign transaction fees, because you'll want to know that because every time you use your card, you might be getting slapped with a fee, and that's something in your budget you'll want to know, right? Credit cards as well. Some of those have transaction fees, foreign transaction fees. Capital One is a really great one. They don't have the fee, so you might want to look into getting that if you haven't already. Now, some Discover cards have the no foreign transaction fee. However, they're not accepted as widely as some other cards. So keep those things in mind. Do your research. Know all the ins and outs, because you don't want to get over there and then be like, oh, you just can't use my card. You know, be a bit of a bind there for you. Traveler's checks, they're really safe. Now, they are kind of fading out, but a really great thing about them is that they're a really good, like, emergency plan, like a backup plan. By some means, your wallet gets stolen. If you lose it, leave it on the tube or something like that. If you have those traveler's checks, you know, that's a way to be able to have some money. So it's good things to keep in mind. And then also how I mentioned, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to put your traveler's checks and your traveler's checks receipts together, because if you lose it both, then you're really in a bind. You don't want to have all your credit cards, all your cash in one place, because if it's gone, it's gone. So be sure to keep some back in your hotel, in your dorm, wherever it is you're staying, under lock and key, and just keep things separated. Take one card with you, leave one behind, swap them out or something, but don't want to lose it all at one time, because it's no fun, I promise. So shopping, who's excited about shopping? Yes, yes. Okay. Again, budget for it, because you don't want to spend your money on clothes and be like, oh, I can't eat for the next week. So be sure to take care of that and everything. And then also think about, how are you going to get all this stuff home? You know, because you buy and you buy and you buy, and you're like, okay, I have no room in my luggage. Are you going to ship it home? Are you going to buy another thing of luggage? You know, keep those things in mind, because that's also cost. If you're going to ship it home, that's going to cost you, as well as having to have an overweight luggage on the airline versus having another checked luggage too. It's all things you need to kind of keep in mind for your budget. Also tipping. So here in the US, we're used to tipping 15, 20% or so, right? Well, it's not like that everywhere. So kind of do your research, talk to your director, and find out what's appropriate for the country that you're in. Because important. You don't want to over tip or you don't want to under tip either. So just keep those things in mind because customs are just different everywhere you go. Bargaining. Some countries do a lot of bordering and bargaining, and if you want to give it a try, go ahead, talk to your director, make sure it's accepted there, and then why not give it a shot? Try to get some money off of that fake Prada purse or something, That's what I did. Just saying. Also, think about taxes. We know how our tax works here, but it's not how it works everywhere else. So keep this in mind. Taxes may be posted to the door of the shop you enter, may be posted at the register, or it may even be included in the sticker price. So you just want to kind of know what you're getting yourself into again, so you don't get up to the register and you're like, oh my God, that's way more than I thought it's going to be. Also, exit tax. Some countries have an exit tax. Again, do your research, talk to your director, and they'll let you know this, and that's just money you'll need to put aside for when you come home. As well, make notes of what you purchased because you're going to need to declare those items. And it's a form you'll get, and it's self-explanatory, but just so you don't have to just make it all up. Try to keep some notes on that as well. And then moving on to packing and luggage. Don't y'all love these what not to do and what to do photos? Okay, so best advice I can give you is keep it light. You do not want to be this person in the airport. Nobody will like you, and you'll hate yourself as well. However, on the other side, on departure day, keep it simple. Keep it easy. You're going to have to take your shoes off, put them back on. You're going to have to do all that sort of things. And then you're going to be on the plane for who knows how long. So you want to be comfortable, okay? And then try to keep it light with your luggage. And as well, packing clothes. Think of things, of course, that are appropriate, but as well as things you can kind of mix up. Everybody's going to be wearing the same thing over and over. Nobody cares, right? You wear the same thing over and over no matter how many clothes you have in your closet. You have those 5 outfits that you love the most. So kind of just pack the same way. Do things that you can swap up and everything, because I promise you're going to be so happy when you see that one person with all that luggage and having a heck of a time, and you're like, oh, I got mine. So just keep this in mind. Layers are great. Research your country's weather. Know what you're getting into. If you need a rain jacket, or if it's going to be super hot, tank tops versus long sleeves and that sort of thing. So just be aware. Comfortable shoes are so important. Please just leave the stilettos at home. Wear some comfortable shoes, or you're going to be crying over your feet. I promise. You're going to do lots of walking. Let's see, jewelry. Leave the flashy stuff at home. Don't bring things that are irreplaceable, that are expensive. You just don't want to lose it or get lost. Just leave that at home. You'll be back before you know it. So yeah, leave that there. And then, oh yeah, it's okay. Just another thing. Think about the electrical voltage. Things are different there. Your plugs don't always look like ours, and the voltage through the walls are different as well. So you might need a converter, an adapter, and that sort of thing. You can ask your director for more details on that. Sometimes, ladies, it's better just to buy a hairdryer, straightening iron when you get there, because those things tend to blow a fuse quite often. So you're just better getting a cheap one while you're there versus bringing yours from home. It's a really great tip. Also, if you're an Apple user, you bring your stuff over, they have their own converter adapter kit. So if you want to look into that, you can as well. Carry-on luggage. Carry on, and you're going to carry it on the plane with you. It's going to be with you the entire time. When you have your carry-on, your critical medication, glasses if you have them, a change of clothes, and toiletries. This is kind of what needs to go in your carry-on. Remember the 3-1-1 rule. Bring liquids that are 3 ounces or less per container. Place them in a 1-quart Ziploc bag, and you get 1 per carry-on. You only get 1 carry-on. And you usually get a personal item like a purse or something. Just keep that in mind. 3-1-1 rule. It's very important. Checked luggage. This is the luggage that leaves you, goes under the plane, and you won't see it again until your final destination. Hopefully, right? But yeah, so this is where you're going to put everything else. And yeah, like all that important stuff that you need with you on the plane, make Make sure it goes in your carry-on, not your checked. And checked luggage is really important to know the weight limits and that sort of thing, because there are fees if you go over. So research that as well. Packing medication. Yeah, so if you have medication that you need to bring with you, it might be a good idea to have the actual written prescription with you, as well as a note from your doctor. Just saying that this is necessary for you while you're on travel and it's under doctor supervision. And you may need to clear this, but you'll just need to look into that and see if that's something you need to do. As well, carry it in the original container. Don't put it in a Ziploc bag and be look how sketchy. Don't need to do that. Carry it and have the correct quantity. Don't have too much. Don't have, have what you need, exactly what you need. And then also something you may not think about, is this legal in the country you're going to? You need to look that up. You need to research it, because there are different rules and regulations in different places, and you just need to be aware of these things. And as well, you can talk to your program director who can help you with guidance on this. And also, just like our physician told us earlier, there are some over-the-counter drugs that you may want to bring with you, because there's differences between the countries and they may not have that Benadryl or something that you like, so you might want to bring that. Yes, and so with that, Hannah will continue talking to you about American behaviors.
First of all, we are at like the 1 hour mark, so everyone stand up.
Yeah.
You've been sitting for an hour, stand up just for 1 second. It's hot here too, it's hot. Just stand up so you're not sitting. Okay, stretch for a second. Okay, and then we can sit back down and take time to move around for a second. Okay. 7 minutes? Wow. All right. Y'all don't sound like y'all are excited about going abroad. Just say. Okay. Now let's get back up here. Quiet down. All right. First of all, remember, if you were paying attention, we didn't say this, we're going to ask 2 questions at the end, and whoever gets them right, they get to see more. So remember that. So pay attention. Seymour's are kind of creepy, but awesome at the same time. All right, so we're going to talk about American behaviors, okay? So I'm going to ask y'all, what are some typical or stereotypical American behaviors? Loud selfies. I like it. Bad table manners. Yeah. More. T-shirts and baseball caps. Yes. Slightly hot. Yoga pants. Yes. Okay. So these are awesome. I mean, some other ones that are not that great. Some other ones that aren't great. We have. What's your favorite one that Americans are?
Loud, obnoxious, rude, inconsiderate.
Huh?
Demanding.
Demanding. Yeah, that's a really good one. Impatient, binge drinking, informal.
Overly obnoxious.
Yes. Politically disengaged, ignorant about their cultures and languages. These are all kind of not great things. So, what can we do to avoid these stereotypes? Okay? Be nice, yes. One thing, look at a map.
Yeah.
This sounds like, oh, what's a map? Well, you don't want to be the person that you're sitting next to on a train. You're saying, yeah, next weekend I'm really thinking about taking a weekend trip to Indonesia. You know, France and Indonesia are really close. That sounds like a great idea. For those of you who don't know, France and Indonesia are not close at all. This is not possible. So just like take a chance, like look at where you're going, see the surrounding countries. You just want to make sure you know where you're going and you kind of have an idea. Be informed about America and Mississippi and know about where you're from. Everyone's going to ask you, okay? I mean, I can't tell you. They'll ask you, especially if you're in France, they like to talk about politics. I mean,
You'll probably be asked, oh, who'd you vote for president? What do you think about gun rights? What do you think about, same-sex marriage? All kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm studying math. I don't think about that. I think it's just absurd that you're not a good student, you're getting an education, and not even thinking about policy.
yeah, so think about it, just start thinking about those things because they're going to want to know about you. Depending on where you're going, you might might be the only American person they've ever met. So you are their idea of America. You are that person. So remember that. When you get there, look around and pay attention to how they greet each other, how close they stand to each other. As Americans, we're used to our big bubble of space. They might not be that way. So just think about those things. Be aware that things are different, okay? Things are going to be different. Their customs, their culture is going to be different. But just because it's different does not mean it's wrong. Remember that, because you were there to be immersed in this culture. So remember that. If you're going to a country where the first language is not English, learn some phrases. Hello, goodbye, thank you, please. Where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Do you speak English? Learn these 6 things, and they'll be really happy. It's just showing that you're trying. They might stop and say, I speak English, you can stop now. But you tried, so they're going to appreciate it more. So what are some good stereotypes about Americans? All bad. We have good work ethic. I think that we work and good work ethic. I think we're nice. We're welcoming. Sorry, I heard that word. Friendly, warm, welcoming, confident, not afraid to be unique. Again, good work ethic. Open-minded and flexible. So you go abroad, remember, you're not just a student going there. You're a representative of America. You're a representative of USM. So remember this. Try to reinforce these positive attitudes about Americans. And so now Anna Kate can help me with host families. We're going to talk about that for a second. Who's me saying at a host family? Yes. Perfect. Awesome. Host families are really great if you have that opportunity, okay? My number 1 rule, be respectful, okay? You're coming to people's homes. They're welcoming you into their home. They want to teach you about their culture. And you're there to share your culture with them. This is a give and take basis, okay? So you need to be respectful because like I was talking about earlier, with how things are going to be different. Things are going to be different. They're going to do things strange. I remember my first time with a host family, I'd go to the breakfast table and they give me a bowl and pour coffee in it. So they don't have dishes? Like, what's happening? I looked around, they were all drinking coffee out of a bowl. That's what they do. That's the thing in the morning. The next day is the same thing. But at first I was kind of judging. I was like, why are you drinking coffee out of a bowl? I mean, I like your enthusiasm for coffee, but it's a bowl. So that's how they do it. So remember that. It's a great chance to learn about this little thing. Find out expectations. Do they expect you to be home every night for dinner? Do they expect you to let them know when you're not gonna be home that night or you're coming in late? Do they expect you to let them know when you're gonna be gone for the weekend? Do they expect you, is it okay to come down to the breakfast table with pajamas on? Is that okay? Might not be. So ask these questions. And Anna, you can tell about your experience with a host family.
I think what you touched on, the most important is look for expectations. Like an older couple may always want you to be dressed, never in pajamas or don't wear shoes in the house, or always wear shoes in the house. So that was good. This past summer I had a wonderful host family, but I didn't get my host mom's name the first couple days. And we're like, oh, we'll just call her like host mom, or like this is her last name, this won't be bad. Like surely one of the 6 children will say it, or we'll read it on something. And we got like a week into it, still didn't know host mom's name. And we're like, oh crap, like we're in too far now. I can't just ask her name. It's been almost a year, like we said her Christmas party, all this stuff, still don't know host mom's name. So talk to your family, like don't be embarrassed the first few weeks or first few days to like ask names of the children, that kind of stuff. Get to know them because you probably will end up really liking them and keeping them in touch, and you want to keep those doors open and not host mom.
Yeah. Very postcard. I was like,
Mrs. and last name.
Yeah. Yes. So just don't be afraid to ask questions. Even if you think it's strange, a question you might have, you might think it's strange, they might think it's strange, or a question you think is perfectly normal, they might think is ridiculous. But it's because of different cultures. And so just remember that. Be open-minded. Be willing to immerse yourself in that. That's part of the experience. That's part of the reason you're going there, especially if you're going That is why you're there, to immerse yourself in that culture. One last thing about that is bring something back, bring something to them from America or Mississippi. I have a little keychain here, you have a little keychain. You bring like some cheese straw stuff, you know, Mississippi. Bring them something, even if it's small, even if it costs you 50 cents, they will appreciate it because you're showing that you appreciate them allowing you into their home and you want to share your culture with them. So just think about that when you go and pack that with you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can make a recommendation.
Yes.
If you can afford a cutout chopping board in the state of Mississippi, would make a huge impression on the host family. Because they're gonna cook for you like they did. They're gonna try to fatten you up.
They cook good food too. Especially, y'all, getting that authentic food is amazing.
Alright guys, so now we're almost there. We're getting there, promise. So close. Just a few more important things. Culture shock. This is real. This is not what some people talk about. Culture shock is a very real thing. And there's 4 stages. Now everybody reacts to culture shock differently. Some people might fly through the honeymoon stage, but some people might really go through all 4 stages. So it's real, and you may not notice it at first, but then you start feeling certain ways, and you're like, oh, I think I'm going through culture shock. Most important thing I can tell you is if you get into this hostility stage and you're feeling down and you're really aggravated and you're having a really hard time adjusting, you need to reach out to somebody on site with you. Talk to them. Talk to them about your frustrations, and just really, you got to get it out, and you got to still get out of the room. Don't, lock yourself down and be calling home. Oh, I'm so sad. I don't like it here. I don't do things right. You've got to get yourself through this stage because it's just going to ruin your experience. So please reach out if you're feeling that way and talk to somebody because it is very real and it really can happen. So don't allow yourself that unfortunateness of staying locked away and hiding, I guess. I have a couple peer advisors here who are going to kind of tell you their experience with culture shock and just kind of give you an idea of how it is different for everyone. So, Morgan Grace, if you would like to kind of talk to us.
I was definitely in the honeymoon phase for all 3 months that I was in France. I was just constantly excited. Like, if someone was speaking French, I was in France, so it happened a lot. Like, oh my God, you French, you French. Like, oh my God, I caught a word in French. So, like, you're eating it rapidly. And so, some people, you're just going to stay in the honeymoon phase the entire time and just be, like, obnoxiously excited about everything. You're a holder of years.
You're reading. Okay. Victoria, did you want to tell us your thing?
I went on British Studies last summer, and we took a trip to Paris like halfway through the program, and I was just very overwhelmed when I got there, and I'm generally a happy person, but I was just not excited about being there, and there were bad incidents on the metro, and like, it's just very overwhelming, but the friend group that I was with, they kept positive about a lot of things, and so they really helped me get through it, and you just kind of have to remind yourself that it is culture shock that you're experiencing, and like, just don't let it ruin your experience while you're over there.
Thank you so much. And then just to kind of go over, humor is kind of when you're finally getting it, finally understanding what's going on, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just did that, and you kind of laugh at yourself, like, you find yourself kind of in being a part of that culture. And then home is when you got it. You're like, I understand this now. This is why they do this, or whatever it may be. And then usually by that time, you're coming back home. So that's just, keep those things in mind. Culture shock is real. It will probably happen to you. And just be aware of these stages and be aware of how to handle those stages. Okay, fun stuff. Yay. Social media. If you saw in your packets, we had a little social media part in there. We want you to share your stories. This is an amazing experience you're about to have. You just don't know how amazing it is until you go through with it. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we created some hashtags to kind of, we're all going in different places. There's so many programs. However, we want to kind of unify us. That way we can represent Southern Miss as a study abroad as a whole. So these are some hashtags you can use just to connect with us back home, and we'll repost your pictures on our pages and stuff. We just really want to show everybody how great of an experience this is. As well, as you saw a little Seymour, which some of y'all may be, he will be traveling with each of y'all on a program. So there'll be like one per program. And we want you to take Seymour and take some pictures with him, throw a selfie in there with Seymour if you want, or just, whatever. And share those photos of studying abroad with Seymour that way. Also, blog or journal while you're there. You may not have the access to blog, and that's okay. Keep a journal. This is going to go by really fast. When you're going to come back home, you're going to be like, whoa, what happened? A journal is really great because you get to go back and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. This small little detail in this day, and remember the way it made you feel, and that's something really cool. So I highly suggest journaling. Something else really cool about the blog journal thing is we've created this new website, and it's called Study Abroad Stories. And after y'all get home and get through everything from being, getting back from your program, we want y'all to send stories into us, like a little blog blurb or something like that, and tell us about one day, your favorite day, or the craziest day, or tell us about your entire experience as a whole. And we're going to take those, and we have a few guidelines. We'll get that to you later. We'll divide them up by different continents and have that to share with the community and future students as well. So we're just really excited about you sharing your experience, because everyone has a unique experience, and we just want other people to know how wonderful it is to truly study abroad. Okay, so communication. I know we got a lot of mamas and daddies that are like, you're gonna call me every day, you're gonna let me know you're alive, this and that. And that's great and wonderful, but you're gonna need to cut back from home too much. Talk to your family about once a week or so. Skype's a really great thing, FaceTime, something like that. You don't want to be virtually at home the entire time you're somewhere else, right? You worked really hard to get where you are, so you need to enjoy it while you're there. And let the parents know that you're alive and doing well, and you can't wait to tell them about it when you get back. Cell phone options for when you're there. Your current carrier might have an international plan. Go talk to them. Find out if this is the route you want to take. It's possible. You can also get a pay-as-you-go when you get there. You can just add minutes onto it. This is best for communication between the people in your program. And as well, which was in your packet, there's an international SIM card. And there's ways to go about doing that as well if you'd like. So those are just some ideas for communication. Now, with all of that wonderfulness I just told you about, with sharing your story and communication, be sure to unplug too, right? Social media can be quite the distraction these days, and we miss things that are happening right in front of us. Also, it can be kind of dangerous. You don't want to have your earbuds in, looking on your phone, walking someplace you've never been before, and then get hit by a car, right? I mean, it can happen. So just be aware of your surroundings all the time. Don't be distracted by technology. Suggestion, if you are somebody who's like, I really want to post this picture, or I really want to talk about what I ate today, or, whatever, maybe instead of doing it while you're in the process of doing it, wait till you get home at night, when you have that downtime, then do it. That way you're not taken away from your experience of the day. Wait till you get home. That's a suggestion. Also, another suggestion is wait till you get back to the U.S. Because if you post all these pictures and you post everything that you're doing when you get home, your friends are like, I already know you did that. We don't want to talk about it. Because you're going to want to talk about everything you did, I promise. Your friends are going to get sick of you. But, it's just the way it is, because you're getting through this wonderful, amazing experience. So you might just want to share later rather than share while you're even on the program. And again, best advice I can give you is just try to connect to what's right in front of you in that moment. Live in the moment. This experience is just going to be amazing. You're going to love it. There will be things that upset you, things that make you happy, but just embrace all of it. You're going to learn a new culture. You're going to a new country. It's it's going to be something you'll talk about for the rest of your life. You don't want to be distracted by a screen in front of your face, right? So really just embrace what you're about to do, because you worked really hard to get there.
All right, so now that you have an idea of culture shock, which sounds awful, and again, some of you, it might happen, some of you might be in honeymoon phase full time. Now we're talking about re-entry shock, which might arguably be way worse than actual culture shock, okay? Yes, and I'm gonna get Erin to help me in a second. She can hear about who she's studied about before. Now she's gonna go on the Spanish in Spain program. Spanish in Spain! Woo! Okay, so re-entry shock. It's basically the same. You're gonna go through the honeymoon phase. You're gonna get home. Everyone's gonna think you're so cool, and they're gonna be like, you did all this cool stuff. Let me hear about it. And you're gonna go tell them. And then that's gonna last, let's say, 1 to 5 days if you kind of spread out your friends to hang out with. They're gonna be excited. Then they're gonna be like, we've heard this story. You can't stop talking about it. Can you please stop? I'm tired of it. So you're gonna kind of get that phase when no one's really excited, and you're gonna get over the excitement of being back home and your favorite food that you've missed. Like you love Mexican, you haven't had real Mexican in a long time. You'll be all excited. So then you're starting to get mad. You're gonna be like, I went through all those phases. I learned how things worked here, like abroad. And I made it work. I learned how to do it right. And